to talk about something that broke a couple of days ago about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Buss family. So the Buss family sold the Los Angeles Lakers, the majority stake of the Los Angeles Lakers. I believe the guy's name is Williams. They sold it. I butcher people's names on a consistent basis. Sold the Los Angeles Lakers to this gentleman for $10 billion. Not 10 million, $10 billion, which is the largest sale of a professional franchise in sports history as of right now. Now, more recently, the Boston Celtics sold a majority stake of the ownership sold the stake of the Boston Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks, the Charlotte Hornets, the Phoenix Suns have sold their franchises to new ownership. So let's just talk about in detail about the Los Angeles Lakers, $10 billion. Now, of that $10 billion, the Buss family will receive $6 billion of it. I'm not sure where the rest of it's going to go to, probably to some other who had a small stake in the Los Angeles Lakers franchise. It may go to them. I don't know where it goes to. And yeah, so Jeanie Buss and the Buss family sold the Los Angeles Lakers for $10 billion. Now, me personally, the Los Angeles Lakers is one of those historic franchises that you say to yourself, that family is going to run that franchise forever. You know, who would have thunk that the Los Angeles Lakers would be sold for $10 billion? $10 billion is a lot of money. It's a whole lot of cabbage. I don't blame the Buss family of selling it. I'm not sure if their father was still a Dr. Buss was still alive today, he would sell it for $10 billion. It's just, to me, Dr. Buss as well as Jerry Jones, those are the two owners that would not put a price on their franchise, and they'll just own it forever. But hey, times have changed. And this is, when you talk about the NBA, this is not new. This is not new ground. This is not new territory. And I said recently in the video, the Boston Celtics were sold, the Dallas Mavericks, the Phoenix Suns, the Charlotte Hornets. So there have been examples of these franchises, particularly in the NBA, being sold to new ownership. Now, what does all this mean? To me, I feel like a lot of these former owners see the new horizon. They also see how money is going to be dispersed. And they also see how these contracts are going to get larger and larger when you talk about NBA players. And there has been a report that there have been some franchises, a lot of franchises, that are in the red, and particularly a lot of franchises like the Golden State Warriors that have to pay a ridiculous amount of money. They keep their core intact. I think it's like a tax or something when you go over when you go over a certain amount of money that you're giving out to players, you have to then return some money back to the NBA, and it's like a penalty or something, and it's upwards to a lot of these teams are losing millions upon millions of dollars every year. A lot of these teams are not on the plus side year to year. They're sort of kind of in the red, particularly the more competitive teams. So you would understand why the Buss family, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, just to name a few, that are selling these franchises to new ownership, because they just don't want to continue to bleed themselves dry paying millions upon millions of dollars on a franchise that is not in the green. So on one hand, you would understand why they would sell majority stake of their franchises. Now, the Buss family, I do believe that they own like 15% or 10% of the Los Angeles Lakers. So they're not going to go anywhere. They'll still remain with the Los Angeles Lakers. Jeanie Buss will still be the owner, even though I feel like that's a PR stunt. having her still remain as owner. I don't think she's going to do the day in, day out assignments as far as trades and who they're going to draft in the NBA draft and things of that nature. I don't think she has a controlling stake on how they're going to move forward as far as coaching and things of that nature. I do feel like they will tell her which way they're going to go on a certain player or on a coach or something like that. But she will not have any say-so on that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be someone that's going to be doing those assignments. Now, there's some people in the inner circle that Irvin Magic Johnson, he may have some type of role coming back to the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot, and if you've been living under a rock, when Magic Johnson had say so with the Los Angeles Lakers with their draft and things of that nature, he did put a solid team together. Now, was it a championship team? No, but it was a solid team until LeBron James went to Los Angeles and all that stuff changed. All that stuff unraveled. They got rid of the picks that Irvin Magic Johnson already had on the roster as far as what he saw in the foreseeable future. They went totally a different direction. They got Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and the rest they say is history. They did win one championship. A lot of people assume that's not the best championship that the Los Angeles Lakers have ever won. They call it the bubble championship. And I'm not going to go into the history of that, but a lot of people don't, see that championship, the value of that championship as important as other previous championships or championships after that, okay? But that's neither here nor there. That's everyone's opinion. So when you look at this, what does this mean for the Los Angeles Lakers? I feel like someone new there, they're going to have that person going to have someone that's going to run the franchise. Not sure what's going to happen about the front office. Are there going to be any changes in the front office? Not sure about coach. I don't know how much of a leash you're going to give JJ Redick. I do feel like if he doesn't get this team competitive or at least deep into the playoffs next year, he's going to be on the hot seat and possibly lose his job. That's on the front burner. As far as what all these things mean for LeBron James, I'm not sure LeBron James is going to play another 2 or 3 years. There's reports out there he wants to play long enough for his second son, to make it into the NBA. And he was also wondering if the Los Angeles Lakers would trade draft his second son to the purple and gold. I feel like all of those decisions are no longer existing in this universe. I do feel like if you look at what they was doing after the Luka trade, they started to put better pieces around Luka. I do think this is Luka team for the next foreseeable future. I don't know how much of a leash you're going to give Luka. I don't know if they're going to give him 10 years to try to, you see how he's slimming down. Now, if he keeps the weight off, he has had history of slimming down after the postseason and then, being somewhat out of shape in the start of the NBA season. We'll see if that's a trend that continues or he's going to do something different. But if you look at the Los Angeles Lakers and you look at their decisions as of right now, particularly who they are eyeing, particularly in the NBA draft, who have they the trades they have made after Luka. If you look at it, they're trying to build the team around Luka and LeBron. They understand LeBron has done a lot for that franchise, but it's time to turn the corner on a new dynasty or a new regime. It's the Luka regime. And this is why I always said in previous videos when they traded for Luka, I just don't see how Now, talent-wise, it could probably work having LeBron and Luka on the same team, talent-wise. But if you look at today's modern NBA, uh, the the thing of a super team, that's over with. People are not mortgaging their future, their draft picks, players on the roster for an extra superstar. To have two superstars or three superstars. If you look at the collective bargaining agreement, it's real difficult to keep three superstars on one team, much less two. If you look at what the Milwaukee Bucks did trading for Dame, and then they had the Greek Freak, they couldn't do anything else to the roster because they have those two players there. If you look at the Golden State Warriors, the Golden State Warriors had at one time Draymond, Clay, and Steph Curry, and they tried to build around those three players. And even though they won a title, they couldn't keep the pieces that complement those guys. And then after that, they got rid of Klay Thompson. He went to the Dallas Mavericks. So this new collective bargaining agreement, it makes it real difficult to have super teams. You just can't just buy yourself a championship. And if you look at ever since they established this new collective bargaining agreement, a lot of owners are giving up on their franchises, okay? Particularly with these penalties and paying extra for having, max players. And these franchises, a lot of these franchises are not, they either in the red or they're not making enough profit to justify the run of this business. The old adage is cheaper to keep her. That does not exist in the NBA. I feel like this is going to be a trend where you're going to see in the future a lot of franchises, a lot of these owners who have held these franchises for decades are willing to give up their franchises because now the Los Angeles Lakers sell $10 billion. There's going to be a team that's going to surpass that, okay? I don't see the New York Knicks. If you look at their ownership, I forgot the guy who owns the New York Knicks. I do apologize. I don't see him selling his franchise. He has a lot of money, so he could probably withstand a couple of years, particularly if they're competitive, of paying in the luxury tax and things of that nature. I think he's okay with doing that. There is some talk that Kevin Durant could be going to the New York Knicks, even though in the rumor mills, the New York Knicks are not interested in Kevin Durant. I'm not sure if that's just PR talk or spin talk or just get people off the scent of them acquiring KD. But we have to wait and see how that turns. But that's a franchise that's willing to do whatever it takes to get a competitive team, okay? I don't think they're going to do everything like mortgaging all their draft picks to the Phoenix Suns, but they will give something if it means Cat to the Phoenix Suns, even though the Phoenix Suns are not interested in Cat. But you get my drift. You get the gist of what I'm saying. I just don't see the New York Knicks being sold in the next 5 years. Okay, I do see more franchises being sold. I think some will equal the 10 billion mark. Some will get less than 10 billion, maybe 6 billion or 7 billion. It really is up to the franchise. If this franchise have a huge historical background, if it's been winning titles, if revenue, even though the revenue is not at an all-time high, they do have revenue. There's a lot of these tech giants and tech mobiles, or Elon Musk. Look at him. He may entertain buying an NBA franchise. Okay, you got these groups pairing up, trying to buy a franchise. But so yeah, it can happen. But the bigger picture no one is talking about is ever since the NBA signed that new TV deal, and that was it's been a year since that. To be fair, you know, they the people that bought the license to the NBA, they're not seeing a big return on what they paid for. ESPN. Now, NBC Sports will be televising the NBA this upcoming season. They have already made adjustments as far as Michael Jeffrey Jordan doing commentary, or pregame or postgame. I don't know how that situation is set out. If you look at TNT, they're out of the picture as far as televising NBA games, but Inside the NBA has reached an exclusive deal with ESPN. So ESPN, they finally got an NBA show, a very popular NBA show. They've been competing with Inside the NBA and been failing miserably. So if you can't beat them, buy them, not join them, buy them. So they bought their competition, Inside the NBA. When you look at Chuck, Charles, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Ernie, they're gonna be on the now on the on the ESPN side of things. Not sure how this is going to work, because at TNT they allowed them to be them. They were allowed to say whatever they wanted to say. I don't know how that's going to translate in with the ESPN being under the ESPN umbrella. Because ESPN is owned by Disney, so we're gonna have to wait and see about that. But there have been examples such as like Pat McAfee. He pretty much have a cavalier approach on how he does his show. So maybe they'll do the same thing for the Inside the NBA group. But you get the gist. A lot of these, when you look at Amazon, when you look at ESPN, when you look at Fox Sports 1, they haven't made a lot of revenue by signing with ESPN. I'm not sure about Fox Sports 1, but you get my drift. They haven't made a huge return, even though it's been 1 year. And NBC has not televised a single NBA game. How that may change the foreseeable future as far as these networks for the second year under that TV deal, they may start seeing some profit. But if you look at that, the ratings have been low. It's really hard to advertise in the NBA. A lot of people are not impressed with the NBA, because a lot of these teams that made these, and I feel like it's the more popular NBA teams, such as the Los Angeles Lakers. They haven't won the title in many moons. We look at the Golden State Warriors. I'm talking about the popular teams. They last time they won something was like 3 or 4 years ago. Easy come, easy go. When you look at the New York Knicks, they haven't been competitive until this season. When you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, they're still trying to get there. Not sure if they're going to get there. When you look at all of these franchises that are popular on social media, they're popular on news and things of that nature. You get my drift. A lot of these teams are struggling. A lot of these popular teams are struggling. They're not in the NBA finals, and that's why you look at today's NBA finals, which is very competitive. The Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder the ratings have not been there. That's because the Indiana Pacers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're one, a small market, and two, the NBA does not advertise these teams throughout an NBA calendar season. They're so fixated on the Spurs, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Golden State Warriors. These teams that are in the finals, they don't even advertise these teams. They're small market teams. They're not huge fan bases following these teams, even though The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're here to stay. I feel like they're going to be very competitive in the next 4 to 5 years. Plus, they have plenty of draft capital to reset this team when these players that are today, they have to make decisions on, are they going to sign a long-term extension, or they're going to trade these players because they don't want to be over the salary cap. So I feel like out of all the teams, Oklahoma City Thunder, Sam Presti got this team in the right place. So yeah. So, but when you talk about Jeanie, this Los Angeles Lakers being sold, I just thought this would never, in my lifetime, I would see the Los Angeles Lakers being sold. Like I said, it's one of those franchises like the Dallas Cowboys. You don't expect these franchises to be sold for any type of money, and they're first to the fray of the 10 billion mark. Okay. Now, a lot of people are going to say in the comment section, the Buss family does own like 10-15%. And, a lot of people are going to probably say, well, there's a possibility that they could buy back their majority stake. To me, I don't think so. I think the Buss family are happy with the 10-15% stake in it. The Lakers are still technically in the Buss family name. They're not the majority stake of. They don't have majority stake of the Los Angeles Lakers, but they're still in their name, and it's a franchise that the Buss family could be proud of for years, decades to come. They just don't have majority stake of it. I think they're perfectly fine with it. But if you look at the NBA landscape, a lot of these owners are giving up their franchise. They're selling them to the highest bidder. And I feel like short term, people are looking at the money, 10 billion, 6 billion, 2 billion, 8 billion, whatever the case may be. In the future, maybe more than 10 billion. Everyone's looking at the flashy numbers and things of that nature. But when you have so many of these historical teams and these families or these ownerships selling their team, short term, it looks great, but long term, this may be a problem down the road as far as the value of the NBA. If the NBA does not turn it around in this TV deal, I don't know how long they got with NBC, Amazon, and ESPN. Let's just say hypothetically they got a 10-year deal with them. If they don't start turning it around very quickly, then that's probably going to be the most expensive deal that they ever sign. And when they go back to the negotiating table to these markets could probably set a value far below than what they got on this original TV deal. So the NBA needs to hurry up. They need someone to hurry up, turn this thing around, make the NBA great again. Maybe they have slogans like that on hats and T-shirts and things of that nature. But they need someone other than the commissioner that's looking at the NBA's future for here on out, how to make the NBA franchise more valuable than what it is today. Because if you point to the ratings have been sucky all year long. Okay, and it's just not a year thing. Okay, when you look at the value of these franchises, sure, they're being sold for billions and billions of dollars, but why is there an increase of so many owners ready to sell their franchises? So that's something that needs to be addressed. A lot of these teams, I feel like if you look at it on being competitive, you have to go into the draft, make smarter decisions on free agency. I think the era of the super teams is DOA, is dead. No one's is you can't buy yourself a championship no more. I think now with this new collective bargaining agreement, you have to play within the numbers, okay? And you can't have so many max contracts on a team, which means the competition, the talent is going to disperse in other markets, making it fair and more competitive for the NBA as a whole. So we have to wait and see how this turns out. And the NBA needs to market a lot of these teams. They need to market Oklahoma City Thunder a lot better. They need to do a better job with the small markets like the Indiana Pacers, the Oklahoma City Thunder. At one point, the Memphis Grizzlies, until John Morant, was in the news for the wrong reasons. But you get my drift. The San Antonio Spurs, these small market teams, they need to advertise them a lot better, okay? And that's something that I feel like the commissioner doesn't have a full grip on or a full understanding on. You have to make your franchise valuable. You have to make it important, because in the next TV contract deal, a lot of these networks are going to point out the obvious. Like, look, the NBA is struggling right now with their ratings, and a lot of these franchises are barely making a profit, even though they're valuable, but they're barely making a profit, particularly the more competitive ones, trying to satisfy their superstar and try to build a super team around them, and they're giving up on the future with their draft picks. Draft picks are more important now than ever, and you can't realistically give up 6 years, or let's say hypothetically 4 years of your future for one player. Okay, I think those days are long behind. Look what happens when superstars just hopping up and leaving. Look at what happened to LeBron James when he left Cleveland the second time around. They got bad, but as they got bad, they were always picking the right. They was always in the right position to pick the right players, and they were smart in free agency. So yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. I also like to thank everyone that has been, being very supportive with the channel. I think y'all know that, me doing 3 or 4 videos a day is unrealistic for me. Maybe doing 2 or 3 videos a week is good enough. I feel like if you just do 1 video a week, people focus on that 1 video, you get better views that way. And it's, my schedule and things of that nature. If guys, comment in the comment section. Do you want me to do more live streams? Do you want me to do more videos? But at the same time, it's got to be very beneficial for me. I have a life, I have a career, and things of that nature. But yeah, just, one day I'm going to do a video or a live stream talking about this and expanding on this. Because I get a lot of people saying why I don't do a lot of content, why I stopped doing live streams. Like I said, I have a life, I have a career. I can't give up my career just to do YouTube full time. And if I do YouTube full time, I gotta see, money wise, I gotta replace the money that I'm losing giving up on my career or just downsizing in my career. So yeah, you get the gist of what I'm saying. But guys, I hope everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Unless something major drops, I will drop it. But deuces, guys, deuces.